battery electric vehicles are no doubt a part of the future. How much so will depend on where you live, how much so will depend on how fast technology matures, and how much so will depend on so many things like affordability and infrastructure. What's going on right now is Akio Toyoda is putting his projections out there on what he thinks is going to be the realistic market share of battery electric vehicles within the foreseeable future, right? He's not looking at 2080, for example. We're not, I mean, most of us won't be alive by then. But he is saying EVs will reach a 30% share. We'll talk about when that's going to happen. And I think it is in line with their EV ramp up. So I made this spreadsheet a while back that shows their rough estimate of ramp ups in the coming years. And we'll get back to the article because Akio projecting only 30% is extraordinarily low compared to so many other estimates. If you look in Canada, I think they want to have fully electric or hydrogen by 2035. If you look in other places in the world, like in Western Europe, specifically like Norway, they're going to be fully electric in the next few years. So it's really going to depend on where you live. But Akio is saying 30% globally is going to be the penetration rate in probably around 2030, 30% in 2030. So if we look at Toyota's volume here, their total car production in green, and this 11 million is fickle. They have recently said that they in 2024 could produce 11 million vehicles, but this could keep going up. Now, we also have volume that they are sticking to anyways for their EV projection. So in 2021, well, there's a big jump from 2021 from 2020, and same thing in 2022. And there's just going to be big jumps year over year. 2023, we saw a huge jump, 377%, still only producing only 92,000, which is less than 1% of their total car volume. In 2024, right? We're in 2024 now. What is it looking like? It's going to be a roughly doubling compared to last year. We should get to close to 200,000 EVs, and we could see Toyota crack 11 million vehicles sold, which I think is the most ever of all time in a single year from an automaker. But now the percentage is almost up to 2%. If we fast forward, yes, in 2026, new platform, 2030, Toyota will have 3.5 million EVs sold that year, which is over 30% of their estimated volume. Or it could be less than 31% of their estimated volume, depending on what their total volume does. Now, 1 million of that 3.5 million will be Lexus alone. Lexus will be fully battery electric in theory by 2030. That is their goal. So let's go back to the article here. Akio projecting 30%. If we look at some other forecasts, EVs will account for 75% of new car sales and 44% of passenger vehicles on the road by 2040. 3 out of every 4 cars sold in 2040, according to the Bloomberg NEF, is going to be battery electric. Less than half the vehicles still running on the road by 2040 are supposed to be battery electric. So why does Akio think that EVs will only be about 30% of the market? Probably around 2040. Well, he says the rest will be taken up by hybrids, hydrogen fuel cell, and fuel burning cars. Notice he doesn't say gas burning, because in the future with renewable fuels or eco-friendly fuels, you could be running internal combustion diesel or even traditional gasoline engines on alternate fuels. So that's a potential as well. He says there's 1 billion people in the world without electricity. I mean, can't have an electric car without electricity. And he says, like many of us agree, customers, not regulations or politics, should make that decision on the electric uptake. Chairman Akio Toyoda at this year's Tokyo Auto Salon got in front of the crowd, and I was expecting new car reveals or something fun. Now he just talked about, hey, I'm not going to abandon the internal combustion engine. And if I do, and if Toyota does that, then so much of the industry in Japan will fragment and fall apart, and therefore their economy will just sink as well. So many suppliers and so many workers depend on the internal combustion engine as a means to live. This, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, etc., their engines are why they're around. And Toyota says engines will surely remain. A lot of people think Akio Toyoda, as well as the general company of Toyota, is anti-EV. I think they're anti-EV only, and they will have fantastic electric vehicles. Not now, their current ones are not very good, but they will have fantastic EVs starting in 2026 with their own gigacasting platform and technology, own software-defined vehicles. So it'll be a lot of fun to see, but we still are about 2 to 3 years out from seeing the first fruits of all that new technology from Toyota in a battery electric package. But Toyota is going to be saving even more money here. So what's going on in Japan, in the United States, where they assemble battery electric vehicles, they will also be assembling the battery packs there. The individual battery modules, whether it's prismatic, most of them are prismatic or cylindrical, they will be shipped in bulk to the manufacturing site. Then at the manufacturing site, they will customize the battery packs for the output needed there. And that makes a lot of sense, because then they'll say, okay, well, we need this month this many battery packs for this car. And they can switch that on the fly. Okay, well, now we need this size of battery pack for this car. Or maybe the take rate is higher for a certain variant, like let's say the higher battery capacity on the RZ, for example. So whatever it is, it allows a lot more flexibility and cost savings instead of buying the batteries as an assemblable unit from the factory and then getting it shipped to the car assembly plant where they can't do anything else there with it unless they put it into one specific configuration. So this is happening at the Kentucky plant. Absolutely. I hear it's pretty cool. They already have very high tech and automated systems to assemble these batteries in North America. And I'm sure it's going to be like that in Japan as well. I'll put this link in the description below, but we know Toyota has two big announcements for batteries. One is their North Carolina battery plant that is built in-house. From my understanding, it is also co-developed with their Prime Planet Energy and Solutions, which is their joint venture with Panasonic. So they will be building those batteries for hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and EVs at that plant in North Carolina and shipping those batteries to the manufacturing facilities in North America. Their other battery manufacturer is actually LG Energy and Solutions, something that, let's say, Ultium uses, for example, with Honda and General Motors. And those pouch style cells will be shipped to Kentucky and to other North American assembly plants for Toyota. So it's not just Panasonic and their own batteries, it's their mercenary batteries, their batteries for hire through LG as well, that are going to be assembled into distinct battery packs for Toyota's needs at the factory instead of being built at the battery factory. And speaking of Panasonic, I can make probably a 20-minute video just on this article alone, talking about how Panasonic is in do or die mode. Just a few years ago, I believe it was like 2017 or something, they were the #1 battery manufacturer in the world. Now they're at risk of losing their top 4 position. In front of Panasonic is world leader CATL, and then also world leader in BEVs as of the last quarter 4 2023 is BYD. They make lots of batteries as well. LG Energy and Solution and SK Innovation are, well, LG's already passed Panasonic, right, in 2022, and we don't even have 2023 estimates, but SK Innovation may have already passed Panasonic as well at this point. So they are in do or die mode. This is the mayor of DeSoto, Kansas. That's where their $4 billion battery plant is going online in 2025, and they'll be supplying Tesla as well as other automakers. But Panasonic wants to provide 200 gigawatt hours of batteries in the near future, and they can't do that without a third battery plant in North America. So the first one is with Tesla in Nevada, and their second one here is going to be in DeSoto, Kansas. The third one, they don't know. Oklahoma's been on or off for them, so they're trying to find a third plant. But recent news is saying Panasonic can't commit to that third plant without having contracts with potential automakers. So they're in a tough spot because right now EVs are kind of in a holding pattern. As F-150 Lightning, for example, for Ford is down to 1 shift, when just a few months back, I think in like September, they had 3 running shifts. October, they went down to 2 shifts, and now they're going down to 1 shift for the F-150 Lightning due to the lack of demand, and they're sitting around on lots. So that is a problem for Panasonic because they can't expand in North America where they want to and where they have a good shot at really taking the market, or at least being a direct competitor with LG and SK. BYD and CATL have their difficulties in North America due to geopolitical reasons, but Panasonic does not have that. So it'll be interesting to see how Panasonic grows and builds here in North America this decade. And also Panasonic has some exciting things going on, right? We hear about new battery chemistries and new technology every day, but I think this is going to be a game changer for Panasonic. So they have big investment in Silla, which is a California-based battery upstart that really is advancing technology with silicon anodes. Of course, this will lead to greater range and faster charging times. In theory, Silla anodes could provide 500 miles on a 10-minute charge. Many experts consider silicon one of the most abundant elements on Earth to be a smart money play. Silla's Titan silicon anode uses silicon powder to make battery component with great results, including 10 times the storage capacity of most batteries with graphite anodes. By replacing graphite with Silla's silicon, Panasonic can avoid complicated foreign graphite markets that control the supply chain. China has the lockdown on battery ready and battery grade graphite. Now, Canada has a ton, but they haven't tapped into it, and they haven't refined it in mass quantities to be able to provide for batteries quite yet. Silicon anodes apparently produce up to 70% less carbon pollution per kilowatt hour as well compared to graphite during production. What is the downfall of the silicon anodes? Well, apparently they can swell up to 4 times its original size during battery operation, leading to malfunctions. But they have this new nano composite tech that dramatically reduces swelling. There are battery technologies as well coming out right now that are a combination of pouch and prismatic. So the pouch can have a little bit of swelling and flexibility in the package in the near future. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that technology here on these new Silla batteries. Toyota has a long way to go before they hit 3.5 million EVs by 2030. But after that, it sounds like they're going to be happy to stay there. So they're going to ramp up really, really quick and then maybe just plateau off around 2030, depending on the market value around the world, or the market need, I should say, for battery electric vehicles around the world. So I'm excited, and it gives me a lot to talk about. If you guys are not excited for battery electric uptake for Toyota, let me know down below. Do you think their multi-prong approach is the right approach? I absolutely think it is, from a business standpoint, to provide multiple products so multiple customers have more choice. Choice is a good thing. If we only have battery electric vehicles, people are going to be pretty pissed. Choice is a good thing. Long live the internal combustion, in my opinion. It is an engineering marvel. It's super and very convenient for our modern time with our gasoline gas station infrastructure that we have. But there is a point in time where I think EVs are going to make more sense, potentially, as long as that infrastructure is there and cost comes down. They'll make more sense in an internal combustion engine, but we have a long ways to go before they are. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed, because new news is always coming out with EVs, with all this car technology that's changing at a rapid rate. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, and peace.